Okay, hi everyone. Happy Saturday. It's Lay's Saturday Night Live. All right, we're going to talk about politics. All right, for Saturday night entertainment. Um, Actually, I said last time that I have saw some very good experts who you wouldn't see otherwise because of language barrier, but I want to introduce them to you. So hopefully tonight you'll find the time well spent because I have two very interesting. I shouldn't say interesting. Interesting isn't a very good word. Well, I have two individuals with fascinating backgrounds, and I think their insight is important at this time. All right, so let's first talk about. I heard this narrative, this analogy people use to describe U.S. China Taiwan relations, and I was so impressed, and I think it's so true. I'm going to tell you that story first. So they say CCP is this abusive, rogue, and obsessive guy who drove the girl called Taiwan away. She ran away and started her own life and got herself established and made many friends. And one of her most important friends is called America. And the CCP guy threatened to use force to take her back, yelling, "You are part of me, you are mine," and forbids anyone in the village from talking to her. So this guy, America, lives across the pond and is very wealthy and strong. So he maintains order in the village and he doesn't want to see the girl being hurt. So he told the CCP guy, leave her alone. I dare you touch her. So so that's what's been happening. Now the CCP guy, of course, got mad. But he's a conniving guy. So he knows that he's trying to figure out how he could take this girl back. So he figured that he's no match for the American guy in a physical fight. So he came up with a tactic. He thought to himself, well, I can't always say how great I am. I can't, if I say how great I am to the girl, she's not going to listen to me. I mean, she hasn't been listening to me for all these years. So I can't say that. So he came up with a scheme. I cannot make you like me, but I can gradually ruin the trust between you and the other guy, America, and I will gradually turn you against him or turn him against you. I'll destroy the trust between the two of you, and I will break your will so you'll want to come back to me. Okay, so that's an oversimplified description of US China Taiwan relations. But the last part about the CCP's cognitive warfare in Taiwan is vividly illustrated using the three personas. The CCP knows that if it promotes the narratives of how great the mainland is or how great the regime is, not many Taiwanese will listen to them, will believe that stuff. And if it openly attacks the United States, that would cause backfire. So its tactic is it will gradually spread suspicions, doubts in various sectors of Taiwanese society to make people suspicious of the American agenda or what the American government is up to. And it will let experts and KOLs in Taiwan to discuss these issues and make them their own opinions and views. While using experts and KOLs will make them sound credible and thought-provoking. So after a long time, this CCP guy believes that it will have a psychological effect on people and they will accept it as truth. So this is CCP's cognitive warfare, put in a very simplified way. CCP cannot build trust, but it's very good at destroying people's trust. Okay, so the Taiwanese have been subject to a U.S. skepticism theory. I don't know how to translate that in English. Maybe some people call it it's like a suspicious U.S. theory or U.S. skepticism theory. It's part of its cognitive warfare. Now, after the Middle East crisis became major news, there has been this discussions or questions where people wondered if the United States can still defend Taiwan when the Americans are going to be embroiled in multiple battlegrounds. So this is what we're going to focus on tonight. So we will first talk about, is the U.S. able to defend Taiwan if multiple wars break out? We'll hear that from two experts. And then last but not least, I feel it's very important because it's discussed by one of the experts. We'll talk about how Israel has helped China develop military technologies. And I think that's a good lesson to be learned by everyone. So let's talk about first things first. So Beijing has been using its influence in many Taiwanese media, as well as social media, to spread this U.S. skepticism theory for the past several years. It started during the U.S.-China trade war. And then after the outbreak of the Russo-Ukrainian war in 2022, it has immediately launched this U.S. abandonment of Taiwan theory. Right? It basically, it's saying that, oh, the U.S. will abandon Taiwan. And the expression, today's Ukraine is tomorrow's Taiwan, is developed to instigate fear of war among the Taiwanese. Now, after the Middle East crisis broke out, another narrative is spreading that this time the U.S. is not going to defend Taiwan because it's incapable of being involved in multiple wars. Or the U.S. doesn't want to defend Taiwan anymore because it's tied up. I don't think many people really doubt the U.S. government's determination in defending Taiwan should the CCP attacks the island. But there are many people who have the question, if the U.S. is still able to, if multiple regional conflicts break out. So let's hear that from our first expert. Let me introduce you, Tony Hu. Where is he? Let me add this to the stage.
Manage 2个 major regional.
Stop. Let me start from the very beginning. Okay, let me tell you a little bit who he is. Tony Hu immigrated to the U.S. at the age of 16 with his parents and joined the U.S. Air Force in 1977. He is a grandson of a Taiwanese Air Force general. He dreamed of becoming a pilot, but wasn't able to due to an eyesight problem. In 2004, he retired from the Air Force, but continued to work at the Pentagon as a senior analyst. I think he became the first Pentagon country, what do you call that? Country manager or country, like the contact person, officer in charge of Taiwan. So he became Pentagon's first manager of Taiwan affairs. I think that's in 2004. Maybe 2004. I may have the dates wrong. But anyways, he returned to Taiwan to serve as the Deputy Science and Technology Officer at the American Institute in Taiwan. You know, that's the de facto embassy in Taiwan because there's no diplomatic relations. They have these cultural affairs or economic affairs office. I found his experience with American military services and with the Pentagon, as well as his knowledge of Taiwan, because he was born in Taiwan, make his opinion something not to be missed. So in the next piece, he explained the U.S. strategy, how the United States plans to fight multiple wars. I found it fascinating. So I will play the clip. I have people telling me that they listen to my podcast. So I'll play. So when I just play the audio without voiceover, they don't know what's being said. So after I play the video, I'll quickly tell you, again what he said. So here's the video.
美国的战略一直是能够manage 2个 major regional contingency， 就是2个区域大的作 战争，那而且能够打赢。那很多人不了解，美国这个战略不是说同时打2个战争都能赢？真正的是 win hold win 是怎么样？把全部的 focus 在第一个战场，
是，
同时把第2个战场就 hold， 把第一场战争打赢了以后，再移到把注意力移到第2个战场，
再全力打第2个，
再赢第2个，不是同时赢2个，因为同时赢2个，以美国军力来看的话是比较难。当然，美国的军力是在亚洲，它在欧洲，对90%的那些国家都会比它强，没有问题。可是碰到真正的很大的敌人，像中国和俄国，那可能就需要美国本土的军队，因为美国在地区的军队通常 hold 是没有关系，可是要赢的话，一定要 follow on force 从美国本土去 follow on force， 所以 follow on force 要到这边赢了以后再到这边，这样子才赢得了。这是 original concept。当然，最近20几年，美国一直在帮助build up 盟军的战斗能力，而且使教盟军和朋友怎么样联合作战。我们叫 interoperability。interoperability 就是说，我们互相可以用互相的东西，然后同时作战。我给你的飞机可以装我的飞弹，你的东西可以装到我的飞机上面，我们可以同时打仗。那这个 capability 加起来的话，事实上现在应该没有什么敌人在世界敌人能够面对这种能力，就是说美国再加上美国的盟军的朋友的能力。
Okay. So he elaborated on the specific situation now, the the Russia-Ukraine war and the possible Taiwan Strait conflicts, pertaining to how the U.S. allocates military resources in Europe and Asia in the next clip. Something like,
欧洲的军队在太平洋。
Let me start from. Oh, yeah, maybe I should help those people who didn't hear the clip. So he basically said the U.S. strategy has always been able to manage two major regional contingencies and win both. It doesn't mean winning two wars simultaneously. It's a win, hold, win. So focus on the first war while holding the second one. After winning the first war, move the focus on the second and win the second war. So it's not winning simultaneously. And that would be rather difficult for the U.S. military right now. Of course, American military presence in Asia, Europe is superior to 90% of the countries, but facing a formidable enemy like China and Russia, troops from the U.S. mainland would be needed. And American troops stationed in other regions have no problem of holding a war, but to win, follow-on forces from the mainland is required. And so the follow-on forces will win the wars in succession, not simultaneously, but one after another. So he said that's the original concept, but in the past 20 years, the U.S. has been helping allies and friends build up their combat capabilities, and it's a concept called interoperability, meaning that we can use each other's weapons and fight together. And when our capabilities are combined, no enemies in the world can handle the U.S. and its allies. So let me play the second clip. I think he talks more specifically.
在那边，在欧洲的军队和在太平洋的军队应该都可以，至少如果不打赢，至少可以 hold。
是
所以这个 concept two major regional contingency 是没有问题。美国的 forces 是 designed for that。对，现在你看2艘航母去地中海那边，最主要也是合组嘛。那同时没有碰到亚洲的东西。
是
亚洲的一个航母现在在韩国，可是它 station 在日本嘛，在 San Diego 4个carrier strike group， 所以都还等在那边，
随时可以出去。
随时可以出去。如果亚洲有什么事情，他们马上可以出来。然后没有亚洲的军队会被派到那边去，因为美国 always keep in mind 2个 major regional contingency。所以，像他在欧洲的库存很多去用到乌克兰，可是没有碰到亚洲的库存，因为万一你碰了这边有事情发生，你没办法 handle。所以呢，这个 strategy 是比较稳，不会被人家打这边故意使你忙这边以后，你没有时间顾这边，不会有这个情况。
Okay, so Let me just quickly give you a a paraphrase of what he said. He said American forces stayed in Europe and the Pacific can at least hold a war, if not winning it. He said the two major regional contingency concepts should work, and the U.S. forces are designed for that. He said two American carrier strike groups are on their way to the Mediterranean region for the purpose of deterrence, and they don't affect the force in Asia, which has one carrier group in South Korea right now. And then in San Diego, 4 carrier strike groups are standing by and can take off at any time if something happens in Asia. And he said the munition arsenal in Europe is for Ukraine, and the Ukraine war didn't touch the arsenal prepared for Asia. And he said this strategy provides a solid base to avoid the situation that you can't to avoid the situation that you cannot handle 2 wars. So Tony's bilingual and bicultural background makes him very interesting. Now let me introduce the second guest, who also has bicultural background, and he is Japanese journalist Akio. My translation, the name, I think it's Yaita. He was born in Tianjin, China, and to a Japanese father and a Chinese mother. That was during the Cultural Revolution, a few years after the Cultural Revolution. His native language, he grew up in China until he was 15. So he and his family returned to Japan when he was 15. So Chinese is his native language. He served as the Beijing correspondent for the Japanese Sankei Shinbun newspaper between 2007 and 2017. And he's now based in Taipei and is the paper's Taipei branch chief. With his native Chinese knowledge, Japanese background, and Taiwan experience, he offers a unique geopolitical perspective into this doubts and suspicions that CCP is promoting, that challenges U.S. determination in protecting Taiwan. So he's basically arguing that the current Middle East crisis isn't a new war for the United States, and that the U.S. will not give up defending Taiwan. So let me play this clip. Which one? I got confused. Oh, I think it's this one. Sorry. Let me see. It's this one.
战场全面开战
Start from the beginning. Start from the beginning.
二战的时候，美国确实是两面战场全面开战嘛。对，他也没有放弃哪一个战场嘛。就是说，在很多的时候，美国它的这个国家的性格决定的话，它是不会轻易放弃的。然后呢，就是另外一个呢，现在在中东发生的其实根本不是战争啊，是一个大型恐怖袭击嘛。就是恐怖袭击，然后其实反恐并不需要很多的军事力量，反恐其实可能更需要情报啊各方面的来做。所以说，在中东现在就是说，虽然大家担心就是什么叙利亚可能动啊，这个黎巴嫩的真主党游击队可能会动啊，或者伊朗。这些势力其实跟过去的几次中东战争比起来，都是根本没办法比嘛，没有可比性嘛。过去几次中东战争是周围的所有大国联合在一起在打以色列，都没有打过嘛。那么过了这么多年，其实我们冷静的看的军事实力，以色列是在提升的速度要远远高于周边国家。现在如果是正面战场的话，那么光凭以色列力量就足可以碾压所有的周边国家。但是所以说这点是美国是不担心的。现在大家担心的是不对称作战嘛，就是我身上绑个炸弹去找你嘛，这种方式不是战争嘛。那么如果当大家担心的中国要打台湾，中国打台湾这属于灭国战嘛，必须要正面战场去攻嘛。这个时候不可能中国弄不对称作战过来嘛。这个如果从正面战场和如果美军介入的话，我想我们看到最近伊拉克战争等几场战争来说的话，美军的绝对优势还是非常明显的。现在 台湾说的什么美国不可能陷入两三条作战，或者是这个美国会放弃台湾，这就是典型的从中国放出来的以美论。
对，
这种以美论在台湾是很有市场的，但是你仔细冷静一想，它是完全不符合逻辑的。
Okay. So he does say that this don't underestimate this theory, even though we know it's CCP's narratives, but in Taiwan it does have, Akio said, it does have quite a following. Yeah, there are people who believe that. So don't underestimate that. Now, what I want to say is this: despite the amount of support Ukraine received worldwide, the Russian-Ukraine war is still ongoing after 20 months. Without Beijing's economic and military support, Russia would not be able to fight Ukraine for so long. Without Beijing's backing, North Korea and Iran wouldn't openly support Russia. Without the CCP's interference, the Saudi-Israel peace agreement wouldn't have been disrupted by the Hamas attack. Meanwhile, the CCP is becoming more aggressive in the South China Sea, in the Taiwan Strait, and in the United States' backyard. It's collaborating with Cuba, right? In addition to trying to control Brazil. And large amounts of undercover terrorists and questionable Chinese are entering the U.S. through our defenseless borders. Didn't we see 4 Iranian terrorists? I mean, 4 Iranians whose names were on the list of were on the terrorist list, were detained at the border. So, I mean, the only reason CCP is able to do that is because it has money. But who has provided the money? The wealthy democratic nations in the past 3 decades. Right? So the Chinese didn't benefit much from the economic reforms, but the CCP is using its economic influence is using its economic resources to buy influence, corrupt people, acquire assets, infiltrating our society. So without money, it's not able to do anything. The country that has learned a big lesson in this is Israel, because Israel has been actively doing business with China, including large defense contracts, right, or business selling arms to China, or selling military technologies to China, especially during the early days of China's economic reforms. So I want to play you this clip in which Tony described, from his perspective, from somebody who has worked at the Pentagon, described the collaboration between Israel and China. And I thought it's eye-opening. So I want to play that clip. Here we go.
那美国就说不准。
Hold on. Start from the beginning. All right, here we go.
那个时候像以色列要卖给中国空中预警机，那时候大概30年前，那美国就说不准，这是使中国的空军几乎往前走一大步。结果以色列说 OK， 我不能卖，那我就送了一大堆技术人员到中国大陆去帮助中共造他们的空中预警机，后来就造成了。这个东西使中共能够有新的作战方法，因为以前他的飞机是靠地上 control， 地上控制，因为地球是圆的，它地上雷达看到的东西只有这个距离，
小范围而已。
好，小范围，然后它控制就是小范围，它飞机上去能够看的地方就大了，然后就可以控制更大的地方，所以把整个战区扩大了。以色列给中共这个能力，然后同时那时候40几年前，美国和以色列共同想造一个新的战斗机，叫 LEBI， LABI， 对不起。结果后来因为花太多钱了，后来美国就 cancel 了。结果以色列就把他的这些科技传给中共了，然后现在帮助中国造成了他的 J10战斗机。J10战斗机就是靠美国和以色列合作的 LEBI 战斗机造成的。然后 这是很大的问题。那更大的问题是怎么样？这些战斗机上面装的飞弹，以色列把他们的蟒蛇3 Python 3就让中共造了，所以中共现在飞机上装的很多飞弹是以色列的 design， 这个头痛。以后如果真的有事情发生，他用来打台湾的战斗机或美国的战斗机，是以色列给他的东西。当然最近最危险的还是 UAV。以色列给中共一个很特别的 UAV 叫做 Harpy。Harpy 这个无人机是专门打雷达的。哇！那通常你如果一个雷达知道敌人飞机来以后有反雷达的飞弹，那就把雷达关掉。
对。
那这飞弹就找不到了，就掉到地上。Harpy 会怎么样呢？Harpy 它是会飞，你关掉没关系，我来要打你，你忽然关掉找不到你，我再飞上去就绕。
你只要随时打开，
你再一打开它就打你。哇，这是很头痛的东西。然后当然对台湾的雷达和对美军要来，
瘫痪你的雷达了。
呀，它是一个，它不是很快的飞弹，
是。
可是你打雷达不必太快，你就记得在哪里，你就打了嘛。所以这个科技给中共是给美国很大的头痛。后来有一段时间，中共要送一大批这个 Harpy 到以色列去翻修，去 upgrade。那美国就说以色列你不要再还给中共。以色列说你不能 stop me， 我还是修好了以后就又送回去中共。所以
Okay. All right. I'll provide you the link to the actual video, to the actual TV program. It's like an hour long. So these are just clips of them. So, in addition to what he mentioned, in 1984, Israel provided the Chinese with tank thermal sheath technology, which can ensure that the tank gun will not lose accuracy under different temperatures. And China didn't know that, and also China didn't know the technical process, specifications, and software operation initially in the defense industry. And Israel provided help to get the Chinese up to speed. Israel also upgraded the Ming-class submarines and trained many special forces personnel for China. I saw one article that talked about why would the Israelis do that? Well, money. The Chinese often offer lucrative deals that's too hard to refuse. So how many people can resist CCP's money? I don't think there are a lot. And that's why we're in this trouble today. So people should remember that any economic strength CCP obtains will be translated into military and political expansion and aggression. So I hope that people, remember that and remember the lesson that Israel learned. Okay, that's all for today. It's only 30 minutes. Wow, it's good. I feel good to do. Maybe I should do shorter presentations in the future. So I just want to share with you these, I think, experts' great analysis. There's a lot more information that I found. They're very, very insightful. These 4 clips already took me a good part of today, me and my editors, to translate and create the subtitles for you. So yeah, I hope that they're helpful. Let me see if people have questions for me. Oh, I didn't give people a quick summary of what he said in the last piece. I'm sorry for those people who listen to me on podcast. That's okay. I already wrapped up, so I'll take questions. This is hard to do, trying to repeat every person. Okay. Let me see if people have questions for me. John S. Lay, thanks for a weekend show. Oh, yeah. Well, this is my birthday weekend, so so I skipped my birthday celebration to do this program, but it's a good time well spent. Anyways, let's see. Let me see. Uh, from Master G Big Lei, don't you remember me describing Taiwan as a woman that has a jealous ex-boyfriend who feels that if I can't have you, then nobody can? Was that you? I don't I read it from several sources, and I probably also heard it on my channel. Yeah, that analogy is used widely. Okay. All right. Well, thank you. Let's see. All right. Well, not a lot of questions for me. Somebody asked me if I feel left out when people are actively talking among themselves. No, I don't feel as long as you guys have a great time, sharing ideas with each other, I'm all good. Okay, Sumilan. Okay, Nick Furry. Question: can China's citizens be considered innocent, especially if they explicitly support CCP and making PLA weapons? I think it depends the type of job they do. I mean, if that's their job, if they work in a factory that makes bombs, what can they do? I mean, they cannot quit that job. I think um I don't think you can hold them accountable for that, right? But the decision makers at the top, I think, should be held accountable. But the mass majority of Chinese people, I mean, I think I don't think we can hold them accountable. And we shouldn't hold them accountable. All right, let me see. David Lopan, do you think that the CCP's involvement, primarily Xi Jinping, should face trial at The Hague for global something act violation? Not just not just in terms of Israel, but especially Ukraine. Um, but then you're saying that should the CCP be trialed for their undercover support to Russia for invasion into Ukraine? If there's evidence, concrete evidence, then yeah, they should be. They should be held accountable. And I don't think the evidence is so hard to find. I think the Western countries have evidence. They haven't made up their mind what to do with the evidence yet. I think they're saying to themselves, let's not annoy CCP because they found it's already a handful to handle. Paul Gatzia 69 Lei, will the natural disaster in the Three Gorges Dam destroy the CCP's power? It will, but it will also kill so many innocent people. If the Three Gorges Dam collapse in China, you know how many people would die? The the flood will go all the way down. I think even cities like Shanghai, which is it's at the very end. It's basically where the Yangtze River meets the ocean, gets into the ocean. Even Shanghai will be flooded. So many. I cannot imagine all the regions along the Yangtze River. People would die. We're talking about tens of millions, and even more. And these are the highly populated, very dense area. So I certainly wouldn't want that to happen, even though it will destroy the regime. So, all right. Let's see. Happy birthday. Thank you. Thank you. Darren D, do you think the Middle East attacks on U.S. vessels will escalate world conflicts? I think if that were to happen, yes, it would. But I do not think they would have that will happen. I think a lot of it is just, I think it's a show. It's CCP is very good at put on a performance to deceive people. So CCP is the director behind the scene, and then you have these actors acting. But do they really want to turn the scene, into a seriously, a deadly scene? I don't think so, because they understand the consequences if that were to happen. So I don't think that will happen. Jeff Ramos, thank you. Resist CCP money. Good point. Thank you. All right. From Martin. Martin? Is that an English name, Martin, or a Chinese name, Martin? Thank you, Lei. You said Israeli intelligence might be infiltrated, and maybe this is the reason they missed attack. What kind of infiltration? I can't imagine army officers turning against their country. Yes, it's hard to imagine, but it is happening. Because I'm not saying that they're doing this willingly, consciously in the beginning. Oftentimes, these people are invited to go to China and, on a friendly trip, and these Chinese are extremely nice to them. But the Chinese have already studied everything about them, what they like, what they don't like, and they'll set up something to trap you. If you like money, they will offer you some money. They will make you do something that at the first sight seemed okay, but if you really think about it, it's a violation of your, ethics, right? Or they will, set you up with a Chinese woman who could be a spy, or they will have evidence, something against you. So once they have the evidence, either you work with them or you run the risk of losing something precious to you. So oftentimes these people become hostage, and then they will also make, on one hand you will lose everything because they got you. On the other hand, they will make working with them looks so easy and not risky. What they will ask you to do in the beginning, it's just so easy, like nothing, not a big deal, not like serious violation. It comes in waves. It's baby steps. It's a small thing, a small favor that's harmless, one thing, and then they gradually will ask you to do more and more serious things, bigger things, more serious violations. So that's how it happens. I'm not saying these people, willingly say, "Hey, I want to spy I want to spy on my country. I want to turn against my country." No, CCP uses human weakness, and then so I think a lot of these spies, become CCP's hostage. They do that involuntarily, and then at some point they can't help themselves. So it's very sad. That's how it happens. Thank you, Martin. All right. Okay. Brian Smith, Lay's marvelous hair is again trying to steal the show. Haha. Marvelous hair? No, it's not. It's going in all directions. I don't think it's marvelous. I don't know what happened to that hair. It's not marvelous. Thank you. All right. Sorry, I got distracted. Okay, no more questions. Wow, I did so well. Okay. Is that it? That's all for me? Okay, so we'll end it here. Okay, so Charles Denman, I'll just read a comment. So many Taiwanese in Taiwan have fallen into being fooled by the United Front Works Department. There are many that haven't bought the thought control of the CCP. Thought control. Yeah, you're right. There are a lot of Taiwanese who have fallen into that. Lei, do you think CI? What does that mean? All right. I'm not sure what that means. Okay, that's all. Thank you very much for joining me, and enjoy the rest of your weekend. I certainly will, and I'll see you next week. Bye bye.